Good morning, darlings. I want to talk to you today about functional skills. This is something you guys will do that everybody else in the other sets won't. So you essentially get 2 extra qualifications if we put you in for both levels. So what does the functional skills course do? There's a list on the screen which I'll walk through in a second, but essentially it's a springboard from towards your English language GCSE, specifically paper 2. So on the screen in front of you, you can see what does the functional skills course do. It develops skills to help you in life, learning and work. The tests and tasks are based on real life texts and contexts and scenarios, and they'll help you practice for your future. It gives real life writing practice, stuff that you'll have to do in everyday living to prepare you for the future. And it helps your communication skills. It helps develop your communication skills, and you'll have to use good communication skills in all jobs and in all walks of life. Even if you work in a lighthouse, you've still got to have good communication skills to be able to order a bulb that big. So even in the most isolated of jobs, you need good communication skills. This is why we do English in the first place, right? So, and it also gives you an extra qualification when you leave school, and something extra to fall back upon if needed. If needed would mean maybe that you might not get a grade 4 at GCSE. This might help make sure that you get on the level of course that you want at college, for example. People have used it like that. So let's jump straight in and have a look at the first of the 2 examinations. So the first paper that you'll sit in the hall is your reading paper. It's an hour long. It's worth 26 marks for level 1, which is what we'll look at today, and 30 marks for level 2, which we'll come to later on in the school year. It's worth a third of your total marks and the qualification itself. And there's a mix of question styles, multiple choice, short responses, etc., etc. So what about the second part? The second examination is your writing paper. Again, it's an hour long. It's worth 27 marks at level 1, which is what we're doing now, what we're focusing on now. However, the writing video won't be on the end of this one. It will be a separate one. It's worth 30 marks at level 2. Again, it's worth a third of your qualification. And there are 2 writing tasks, including 12 marks for spelling, punctuation and grammar. And this is where it helps to springboard you onto your GCSEs, because for your question 5s on both paper 1 and 2, it's out of 40, and the SPAG mark, spelling, punctuation and grammar, comes under technical accuracy, which is AO6, which is worth 16 marks. So this isn't all that far below those 16 marks. So 12 marks here, it makes it helps you be stringent about your vocabulary choices and your spelling, etc., etc. You must not have access to dictionaries or anything that will help you learn to spell in this or anything that will help you spell in this section. Obviously, it's a writing paper, and if otherwise those 12 marks would be automatic, and you have to earn your marks rather than just look them up in a dictionary. Right. The third component then is the non-exam assessment, speaking, listening and communicating. So the centre, that's the school, set the tasks in line with the guidelines. We mark it using a very stringent pass criteria. There's a big list of things, and then they do come in and moderate it every so often to make sure that we're marking properly. And it's worth 33.3% of your overall qualification. So this is the last third. And it's comprised of 1 presentation task, which is kind of like your speeches for your spoken language for GCSE. However, it cannot be about the same subject, and 1 discussion task, and this you do in a group here. So this is something we will sort out when we get back to school, but it is something for you to consider about what you might want to be talking about that isn't the speech that you were doing for GCSE. Okay, right, so functional skills reading paper level 1 then. Let's have a look at the actual paper. What does it look like? Well, it looks like this. This is the reading paper. It's got a normal front cover, but then it tells you what you've got inside the paper. You've got 3 sources. One is a fact sheet about being a travel agent. In this particular example, it'll be something completely different than this in your actual exam. One is an interview with a travel agent, and one gives you information about Black Gang Chine, which is an amusement park in the Isle of Wight. And if you haven't been to the Isle of Wight, you should. It's beautiful. Not that I've been for 35 years, but still, it was nice. There were trampolines last time I went, but of course I was only 3. Yeah, well, we'll ignore that then. Right, so source A then is a fact sheet about being a travel agent. Now, this is clearly a travel agent. How can we tell? Well, there's a big globe, there's a big map of the globe in the background, and there's a map on her computer. She looks like she knows what she's doing. So she's not a customer. She's clearly the travel agent. So let's have a look then. So, right, your duties. One of your main roles as a travel agent is to give well-informed advice to clients about where and when to travel based on their needs. Other duties will include arranging flights, insurance and rooms, dealing with payments, advising clients on travel arrangements, e.g. visas and passports. So if you don't know what a visa is, you need it to get into certain countries, such as Australia, America, a few other places like that. Sending out tickets to clients, dealing with complaints or refunds. Where you will work. So, most travel agents, it says, are based in branches on the high street, and we've all seen them, we've all walked past them, we know what they look like, we look in the windows and think, oh yeah, that sounds like a nice holiday. Oh, self-catering, no, I'm not cleaning and up after myself, and I'm not making my own tea, and no, I'm on holiday. Holiday means other people do that for me, so we'll go all-inclusive instead for a little bit more money. Or is that just me? Okay. So they work, most travel agents are based in branches and they work on the high street, although some work in call centres. Branch travel agents usually work regular hours, 9 a.m. till 5 p.m, 35 to 40 hours a week, which is your average, and then including Saturday, it says. Travel agents starting out can expect to earn around £12,000. That's per year, not per month. Don't get your hopes up. It's not that good. More experienced travel agents can earn anything up to £30,000, which is not a bad wage at all. It says, let me scroll down. It says, you don't need any specific qualifications to become a travel agent. However, some of these qualifications will boost your CV. MVQ levels 2 and 3 in travel and tourism, BTEC, HNC/HND in travel and tourism management, and a BA Hons in travel and tourism. So a BA Hons is a degree. I have a BA Hons in English, for example. The Hons stands for honours, and it's what you go to university for. So somebody here might have gone to university to get their Bachelor of Arts degree with honours in travel and tourism. Travel agents need to have good customer service skills and a friendly manner. A knowledge of another language is always an advantage when working in the travel industry. That's why we make you do German, French and Spanish at school, because we don't know if you're ever going to be a travel agent. And when you're abroad and you need to speak to people, yeah, it's good. It's a good thing to have a second language. I'll tell you what, when I was in Canada in 2008, yes, because I didn't go in 2009. I was in Canada, and whilst I was across there, my airline went bankrupt and I had no flight home. And I was faced with the prospect of having to fly back to France on the next available flight, because everybody who had been booked on these particular flights was scrambling for tickets to get home. And I did a year of French at school. I did 7 years of German, including an A-level, but I only did a year of French. But somewhere in the back of my mind, because I paid attention in class, I had just about enough knowledge in my head to be able to ask for a ticket on the Eurostar to get home to England. So languages are really useful in cases like that in an emergency. It's really useful. As it was, I ended up flying into London, but I knew that I would be able to get a ticket in France, speaking French, to get myself home. It's important to have another language if you can. Right, source B then, interview with a travel agent. So Gemma Antrobus, what a name, Gemma Antrobus, what an ace name that is the senior travel agent at Helleslemere Travel. Sounds posh, doesn't it? She has been working as a travel agent for 10 years and talked to us about what it is like. We asked her what are the good points, because obviously you'd ask what the good points of any job are. And Gemma said, there's lots of job satisfaction. You will never become a millionaire as a travel agent, but occasionally you get to live like one. You get a chance to travel the world and visit amazing places. I have been all over the world. America, Australia, Africa. Apparently she's only been to the places and continents and countries that begin with A, but you know what? Maybe she's working her way through the alphabet. Then we asked her what are the bad points, because when you think about a new job, you want to know the good and the bad sides. And then she laughed, apparently. She laughed. Dealing with events beyond our control, such as flight delays, these make people very cross because they lose part of their holiday and they take it out on us. Clients who pick your brains and then book the holiday themselves to save a few pounds are frustrating too. But even the bad days can be good fun. She's very optimistic, is Gemma, isn't she? Very positive person. Okay, right. Source C then. Information about Black Gang Chine, an amusement park in the Isle of Wight. So here we've got a logo and it's darker in the middle and lighter at the ends, and we've got this purple and blue swirl, and these colours here match this across here where it says step into the land of imagination, and you see the alternate colours here. It's very posh, very nice. And so overlooking the stunning south coast of the Isle of Wight, Black Gang Chine offers a wonderful experience. Let your imagination run wild as you go on a journey of discovery. Can you fight the pirates attacking your ship? How about being a sheriff in a Wild West town? Do you want to be a fairy princess in your own castle? Now, if we were in the classroom, I'm fairly certain you all know who I'd be pointing to and taking the mickey out of and making comments at. Now, I'm not going to do this on this video, but you know who you are, and so does everybody else. Can you escape from the life-size moving dinosaurs? And I know at this point you'd all be making comments about me, so shh, thank you. Right, filled with a huge mix of attractions and magical theme worlds, Black Gang Chine has something for all the family. There's an adventure around every corner. And then it's got the same colours here as it had up there, and so they continue with the colour scheme, and it says your visit, off-peak ticket prices. If you are 60 plus, so if you're age 60 or above, you are what's considered a concession, and you pay less money to get in, which is £17.50. If you are between the ages of 4 and 59, which is a 55-year spread, which is impressive, you pay £19.50. And if you are in a group of 4, say you're a family, mum, dad, 2 kids, for example, you'll pay £74. Okay, if you are under 4, you go free. Okay, so that's not a bad price, actually, really, if you consider all the discounts and stuff. Right, schools and groups then. Ooh, gone too far, can't help myself. Right, schools and groups. Every year, hundreds of school parties from across the country visit Black Gang Chine. Special rates for groups of 15 or more. 1 free adult leader for every 10 paid children. That's the children that pay to get in, not the paid to be there. Just clarifying. Some indoor attractions and rides close up to 45 minutes before the park shuts. Ride operating times, cafe facilities, and shop opening times vary depending on time of season. Last admission to the park is 1 hour before stated closing time. See website for full details of opening times and events. Disabled toilets are available. Unlimited free return visit within 7 days except for groups. And then underneath we've got a little cartoony drawing with a dinosaur and a bird thing, and then like a cowboy dude here, and then this is a pirate with a barrel of what I can only assume, having watched Pirates of the Caribbean, is rum. And then he says see you soon, and then we've got a dinosaur over here, another pirate with a sword and a parrot, and a fairy princess. Make no comment. Right, so the next thing that we need to look at then is what do the questions look like. So let's have a look at the question paper. I'm not going to go through this on the actual paper because we have all the questions for this particular paper on the flip chart, but this is in the shared area for you to print off and for you to work in your answers. Okay, right. Excuse me. Right, so you put your centre number in here, you put your candidate number in here, you put your last name here, you put your forenames here. This is where we find out if you've got any embarrassing middle names like Mildred, and then you sign here. Okay. Right, let's carry on then. So this is the instructions. These are the instructions. So it says use black ink or black ballpoint pen. You know that you can't write in any other colour. Answer all the questions. Don't write outside the box. Do all your rough work in the answer book, etc., etc. You'll have to read through those really quickly. So this is what it looks like then. I'm just going to scroll down. I'm not going to dwell on it too much because you'll see all of these questions on the flip chart. I've screenshotted all of these, so they're exactly the same. You're missing absolutely nothing by me going this quickly. So there's two sections, section A and section B. Section B starts at question 12. And then you have at the end, after question 17, it says end of question, so that you know that you have finished and that there's no more to be done. Okay, right, so question 1 then. Now, if at any point you want to go back and have a look at the sources, you can either have a look at them in the folder and you can print them off, or you can go back and listen to me reading them out. It's entirely up to you. So let's work through question 1 then. So it says, the questions are different types and ask you to look at different things. They all test different skills to prove that you have a functioning level of English for the world of work. And for those of you who roll your eyes and say, Miss, I don't like English, I don't need it. Well, yes, you do. And deep down, you know that, otherwise you wouldn't turn up. So, thank you. Right, so, for example, question 1 asks you to use information to decide if things are true or false. Nice and easy, this is. So all 4 must be correct to get the 2 marks available. If you get 3 correct, you only get 1 mark. So it's important that you pay attention. So using the information in source A, put a tick in the correct box to show whether each statement about travel agents is true or false. Now, tick is a key word here because if you put a cross, you're not going to get any marks at all. You need to be able to follow the instructions, and that's part of the functional levels of English that we need. So let's have a look. It says they all work in call centres from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. Well, that's nonsense because we know that they're working in a branch. So we're going to put a tick in the false box because we know it's not right. They may have to work on Saturdays. Now, if we didn't have the word may there, that would be false, but they might have to work on Saturdays is also true. So we'll stick a tick in there. They can earn up to £30,000. We know that's true because we just read it. We're going to put a tick in there as well. That is a tick, I promise. I just can't use this pen. Let's try again. There we go. Oh, that's better. And they have to be able to speak another language. Right. So the word have here, meaning must, they must be able to speak another language. Have to is the key phrase here. Did it say that? No. It said it was advantageous, but that isn't necessary. So, and that is again a really bad tick. Sorry, darlings. Right, there we go. So it's false. They don't have to. Yes, it's beneficial. It's bonus, but they don't have to. If they don't speak, I don't know, Swahili or, Klingon or whatever it is people speak nowadays, they're not going to be automatically rejected from the job. Okay, right, marvellous. Question 2 then, let's move on. You are advised to use a dictionary for this question. So you can use a dictionary for this question, and that's fine. But if you can work it out yourselves or just know it, you might save some time for your later answers worth more marks, because this is worth 1. So, source A states you don't need any specific qualifications to become a travel agent. The word specific does it mean, so if you did not know, you might be able to work it out by taking these words and putting it in place of this word here. So if we read out the sentence, you don't need any general qualifications to become a travel agent. No, that's not true, is it? You don't need any high-level qualifications to become a travel agent. I'm not sure that makes any sense, so we can cross that one out as well, can't we? That's rubbish there. You don't need any particular qualifications to become a travel agent. Well, that sounds about right, but just to double check, you don't need any technical qualifications. Oh, no, not technical. No. So C, particular, is the one that we're using. So we're going to put C in the box because that's what it is. You don't need any particular qualifications to become a travel agent. That sentence makes perfect sense. So we're going to pick answer C. Now, your extension task then, my darlings, is to help you boost your vocabulary. It's to help you extend or highlight or, make it better. So the word specific then, pick from this selection below which other words mean specific. So instead of just carrying on with the video, pause the video and write down which ones you think mean specific, and then you can check your answers afterwards. It's pointless just carrying on with the video without doing this task. Why? It's not helping your brain. And we need stuff that's going to help our brains. We all need stuff that's going to help our brains. Me in particular today, not going to lie. So you need to have a go and pick which ones you think. So off you go then. Okay, I'm going to assume that you didn't cheat, so well done. So these 4 here are the ones that are synonymous. They are synonyms of the word specific. So if you don't know these words, if you don't know any of these words, like vague, for example, if you didn't know these words, you could either look them up, you could type them into Google, you could ask a person at home for some help. And if you don't know how to spell them, you can write them down and get somebody to test you. It's not going to hurt to do that. So largely, season, sporting, special, exact, normal, standard, large, vague. We're adding some new features to Windows. I'm sure they are. Sorry, guys. I had a new laptop today because my other one wouldn't record, which is why this has taken so long. But apparently Windows is adding some new features. Sorry about that, darlings. Vague, definitive, specialised, or established. Okay? If you didn't know what those words were before, you do now. Right. So, functional skills then not only tests your reading ability, but also your general awareness and inference skills. So, texts and pictures imply, we infer. To infer means what can we tell? We work out. We work out something that isn't specifically said. See what I did there with the word specific, just like, yeah. Jokes. Right. So what do you notice about this picture then? Let's have a nice bold colour. What do you notice about this picture? What's going on? So out of our 5 W's and a H, who, what, when, where, why, and how, we want 3 W's and a H. So who? Which of these? And then we've got to work out which stands out the most. So who? Well, she's a travel agent, and yep, she's sat there and she's working. What is she doing? Well, what is she? She's obviously a travel agent. Look at what's going on. What is she doing? She's working. Where is she working? She's working in what looks to be an office. And how is she doing it? Well, look where her hand is. That's not an iPhone, that's a mouse. Look what's in front of her, that's a keyboard. Look where she would be looking if somebody hadn't just said, turn a smile for the camera. She'd be looking at her computer. She's working on her computer. And this is what we can tell from this picture. So what's standing out the most? What's she doing? So she's working on the computer, I think, is the thing that stands out the most. So the next question then, question 3 is, Source A contains text and a picture. What extra, and that's the key word, extra information does the picture suggest? A, travel agents can only be women. Sexist. Let's cross that one out straight away. We're supposed to be in black ink here, miss. Travel agents have a friendly manner. Well, it did say that in the source. So we can stick a line next to that one and come back to it. Travel agents might need to use a computer. Well, clearly that's what she's doing, so we'll stick a line next to that one as well. Travel agents work regular hours. Is there anything in this picture that says what time it is? Or other than the fact that she hasn't got bags and dark circles under her eyes, nothing else suggests that she's not working a night shift. So we can't say that one's that we can tell that from the photograph. So travel agents have a friendly manner, or travel agents might need to use a computer. What stands out the most? Well, considering we've got a big screen here which is actually taking up more of the space than she is, I'd say that travel agents might need to use a computer is probably the right answer, because that's what stands out the absolute most. Okay, excellent. Move on then. Right, we've got this same arrangement as we had for question 1, so we know what to do. We're putting a tick in the true or false statement, and Helpful Harvey says, when answering questions, sometimes it's important to consider what's not on the page or in the information as well as what is. And what does that mean? Right, so we'll have a look. So travel agents arrange flights. Duh, yes, of course they do. That's a true. That's easy. Travel agents advise on visas, and we discussed this earlier, so yes, that's true as well. Travel agents send out passports to clients. Well, no, that's not true. It said they advise on passports, but they don't send them out. It didn't say anything about not sending them out, but equally it didn't say anything about sending them out. So, and we know that a passport is a legal document. It's sent out from the passport office by the government, and so we know that that is false. Travel agents deal with complaints. Well, we know that's true because she said it. It was one of the very few things that was said on it was the last bullet point, I think. So that's it. 2 marks because I've got all 4 of them correct. If I got one wrong, I would only get 3 marks. So make sure you're bearing that in mind. Right, again, with the working out what a word means. And if you're smart, you will have heard me say stuff before which will help you answer this question. And I know that you're smart because you're in my class. So true. Right, source A states, some of these qualifications will boost your CV. The word boost means A, be included in, B, complicate, C, enhance, or D, simplify. So again, we need to take these words. If you don't want to use a dictionary, if you haven't got the time, or if you just want to learn, then we need to take these words and see if they will fit into that sentence up there. So some of these qualifications will be included in your CV. Well, some of these qualifications, if you include all your qualifications in your CV, so that's not the answer. Some of these qualifications will complicate your CV. That makes sense, so cross that one out. Some of these qualifications will enhance your CV, or some of these qualifications will simplify. Well, we don't want things simple, do we? Because it means it's less great. So again, C is the answer. Enhance, make better, improve. Okay? So your extension task then. Which other words mean boost? Chocolate bar, chocolate. No, chocolate bar, expand, lessening, upgrade, launch, wax, ouch, advance, combine, improvement, explode, fabulous, or display. Again, go ahead and pause this, write down the right answers, and then come back and check. And have some chocolate if you get them all right. Or maybe that's just me. Okay, I'm going to assume that you didn't cheat then. And so which other words mean boost? Chocolate bar, oh no, not the chocolate bar. Oh, well, never mind. Expand, upgrade, advance, and improvement. And if you got all 4 right, you deserve a chocolate bar. Okay, right. So next question then, my darlings. 6. The writing in source A explains, instructs, or persuades. We have to work this out. What does it do for us? Was it persuading us to become a travel agent? Not really. Was it instructing us to become a travel agent, or telling us what to do. No, it wasn't. It was explaining to us what the role of a travel agent is and what that includes. Yes, it was. So we're going to put A in that box, and we have answered question 6. Job's a good one. Now, before we move on, I need you to pay attention to this red box. It's very important that you read all the instructions above the questions. All the questions we've answered have been from source A so far. When it tells you to look at source B, you must make sure that you're looking at the correct ones. People haven't, and they've made mistakes. And they haven't been able to answer the questions correctly, nor have they got any marks. So it's important that you look and see. People have a tendency to skim over stuff, and that's not helpful. So when it says source B in bold up here, you need to pay attention to it. So it says read through source B carefully. I'm not going to reread this because I've read it once before. You can go back and read it and then come back to 30 minutes and 25 seconds for us to move on. So, task. This isn't anything to do with your actual exam paper. It won't be on your exam paper, but this is part of your course in which you will be able to springboard onto your GCSEs. So it says, write a paragraph answering the following question, giving reasons for your choice. And I want you to base your answer on this paragraph, on this interview here. And it says, would you like to be a travel agent? Now, this is not for real. I'm not asking you to make this career choice. I know some of you in the classroom would say, oh, but miss, I'm going to be this, I'm going to do that. I'm not interested in this. I don't want to be a travel agent. What do I want to be a travel agent for? And I totally get that's what you've chosen, but we need you to be hypothetical here. We need you to imagine, use your imagination, and imagine that you hadn't got a clue what you wanted to do, and that you were looking at all sorts of different careers, and that you had read Gemma Antrobus's interview here. Based on this, if you were in that situation, would you like to be a travel agent? Why or why not? There's no wrong answer here at all. You just need to support your points. You just need to support your argument. You need to justify your answer. So if you said no because you wouldn't want to deal with people who were shouting at you, that's an absolutely fine answer, but I want you to write it in a paragraph. I want you to write it well. I want you to give me reasons for it. And vice versa, if you'd said that you wanted to, yes, because you get to go to all these places, brilliant, write it in a paragraph. Do that. You can either type it up and put it into the submissions folder, or you can write it into your books, take a photo and email it to me, or if you're really struggling with either of those things, you can write it in your books and I'll have a look when we get back to school. So let's have a look then at question 7. Question 7, I'm really going to try hard to write here because this is quite challenging. So, question 7, in source B, identify one positive thing and one negative thing about being a travel agent. So, one positive thing, if I were thinking about being a travel agent, I might consider all the different places that she gets to go to. So, I might put visit. I'm going to try and write here, guys. It's not working, so what we're going to do is I'm going to type it instead. You guys don't mind, do you? So I might put visit amazing places, and that's all that you really need. You could put it into a full sentence, and that would be fine. Let's get that on the line, otherwise it'll annoy me. And that's it. That's 1 mark. So negative thing. What's a negative thing? What did she not like? She didn't like dealing with cross people because of events that were beyond her control. So I might put dealing with events beyond her control, and that might be that's my answer. Then that's all I want to say. Let's make this is going to drive me up the wall if I don't have it on a line. There we go. Look at that. Excellent. There we go. Marvellous. Look at that. Isn't that neat? Aren't I proud of myself? Right. So it's got to be that simple. When I ask you to do stuff for GCSE, I ask you to write big, long reams of paragraphs. And this is a completely different thing. We've just got to say, this is a positive thing. To be able to visit amazing places is positive. And a negative thing is dealing with events beyond her control, beyond the control of the travel agent. And for that, I get my 2 marks. So, Helpful Harvey says, if you've done the extension task, you should be able to easily complete these questions for 4 marks. And whilst you wouldn't have an extension task in the exam, it's this sort of logical thinking, which we'll come on to in a bit, but it's this sort of thinking and making ourselves think about things more than what we just see on the page that will help us deal with all of this stuff and be able to answer it really easily. So, speaking of which, you're going to do this question on your own. This is independent work. So, NB, nota bene, it's Latin for pay attention. Note well, literally, pay attention to this. So it says sometimes a word has more than one meaning. Here, the exam tests you on your ability to determine, work out, tell which meaning is the most appropriate for the situation. Now, so you're going to do this on your own, but I am going to walk you through it a little bit because I'm not that much of a, Gemma Antrobus, ace name, is the senior travel agent. What does the word senior tell us about Gemma? Right, she enjoys being a travel agent. Well, I don't think senior's got anything to do with enjoyment, so let's cross that one out. She works longer hours than her colleagues, and I don't think that has anything to do with being senior either, but these two here. She has the most experience in her team. She is 10 years older than her colleagues, because when we think of senior citizens, we think of old people. So it's entirely up to you to pick which one of these it is. I am not going to give you the answer. You have to work it out. Good luck. Right, question 9 then. Nice and easy. In source B, Gemma Antrobus says, but even the bad days can be good fun. What is the purpose of the exclamation mark, that's this here, in this sentence? Maybe I just have to write down like that. All right, okay. Maybe it doesn't work if I tilt it. Okay, what is the purpose of the exclamation mark in this sentence? A, to show that it is the end of the interview. B, to show that she is answering a question. C, to show that she is telling the truth. Or D, to show that what she says is surprising. Now, you guys know what an exclamation mark's for. You know this. You should be able to do this in your sleep. But just in case, I've put you some information down here, which, by the way, if you want to grab this, you can pause the video and take some notes and copy this down or write up some of your own examples. So we know then, don't we, that the answer is D, to show that what she says is surprising, because look, surprise is right there. Okay? Dead easy. You guys can do this. Not a problem. Right, questions 10 and 11 refer to source A and source B. This is important. Remember I said you have to listen, you have to pay attention to everything in bold. This is what you have to do. Right, so number 10. Identify 2 similarities between source A and source B. You might want to look at format of the texts, the language used, the kind of information, ideas and opinions given in the text. Now let's have a look at Helpful Harvey before we go any further. Types of things to look for in this question include how the texts are similarly formatted, lists, paragraphs, etc. What kind of language is used, technical, subject specific, what subject the sources are about. Okay, right, so 1 mark for each similarity, because it's out of 2 marks here. So for the first one, we might say, let's try it. Both use, I can't write, sorry darlings, both, no, it's not working, sorry my darlings, I don't know why it's not working, but I'm not impressed. So we might say then, both use paragraphs. Both of them use paragraphs, don't they? Yeah? Both of them use paragraphs. And that might be it for point 1. Similarity 2, what's the same about both of them? They both use some technical language, don't they? We're talking about delays with Gemma, and we're talking about visas and stuff like that. So both use some technical language. Both use some technical language. And that's it. And that's my 2 marks. That's 2 marks there, which is great. So yeah, that's brilliant. And then jobs are good. And so this is how, not easy, but straightforward, I think is the word, that these questions are for you in this exam. So don't overcomplicate stuff. Don't look for metaphors and similes and all that sort of stuff, because that's not what we're looking for in this exam. Okay. Now, what we need to do is we need to identify the differences now. So Helpful Harvey then says down here, so we're looking at the layout, what differences there are in formatting, the language, what different types of language are used. We're looking at things like content, what makes up the main body of text. Is it facts? Is it opinions, etc.? What's happening? So, for example, we would have to, I'm going to type this, guys, because I don't think you want to watch me mess about with a mouse for a very long time. We would have to then say, for example, we're going to have to write in full sentences here and compare stuff. So, for example, if we say source A has bullet points, but source, let's put a capital, source B, what can we say about source B? Well, it wasn't in bullet points, was it? It followed the interview. Follows the interview because it was sentences, wasn't it? So yeah, okay, that's one difference. And notice I've put something about both sources in there so that I can get my marks. Let's have another thing. What can we say about the differences between source A and source B? Source A is mainly facts, isn't it? You earn up to £30,000 a year. You work 9 till 5, including some Saturdays. If you're in a branch, you can work in a call centre. It's mostly so source A has mainly facts, doesn't it? But source B it's Gemma's opinion, isn't it? So includes opinions. She doesn't give many facts. She doesn't give statistics or anything that can be proven. It's more about her opinion. She likes this is bad, etc., etc. So this is what we're going to be writing then for our answer and to get our 2 marks. If you hear a weird noise in a minute, it's the dog. He's decided to come and join your lesson. Ignore him, he will go away. Okay, so question 12 then. Did you hear that? He's not impressed. Right. Text type, audience, and purpose. These things are going to be used not only here, but at GCSE as well. At functional skills level, and the dog agrees, at functional skills level, you're mostly looking at purpose. What is something for? What does it do? And these 9 things here are things to look out for. So, entertain, to analyse, to explain, to persuade us, to argue about something for or against, to inform us, to advise us, to describe something to us, or to instruct. So if you want to grab these down in a big list or a chart or something that you can colour to stand out in your notebook, please do so, because you'll probably use this later on for GCSE as well. So this is source C again. I'm not going to read it out to you. You can either go back, you can have a look yourself, and if you want to go back and listen to it again, you can come back to 43 minutes, and then we'll be moving on to the next question. So sometimes this question can be tricky. I don't know why there's a random eye there. I really have no idea. Sometimes this question can be a bit tricky. Sometimes the source does 2 of the options you're given, so the best way to navigate it is to read carefully which is the key word in the question. So look at the language and structure in source C. The main purpose of source C is to A, advise schools about the costs of trips to Blackgang Chine. B, inform children about the number of visitors to Blackgang Chine. Or C, persuade people to visit Blackgang Chine. Right, so it does all of these things, but we need to think about what the main purpose is. What is the main thing to do? Do we just want to tell children, tell schools about the costs? No. Do we want to inform children about the number of visitors? No. So we know that persuading people to go is the most important, it is the main purpose, because we had group rates, we had over 60s prices, we had under 4s go free. If it was either one of these two things here, none of that other stuff would have been included and would have been the most important. So that's for 1 mark, and we can move on. So, more vocabulary stuff then, my darlings. You are advised to use a dictionary for this question, but again, you can work it out by replacing words. So, source C states, overlooking the stunning south coast of the Isle of Wight. The word stunning means A, beautiful, B, exciting, C, shocking, D, warm. So again, we're going to put these words up here. Overlooking the warm south coast? No. Overlooking the shocking south coast? No. Overlooking the exciting south coast? No. So we know that the answer then is A, because it is beautiful down there. Right, so your extension task then. Name 3 other things you might describe as stunning. I might put Ellis Genge, Ben Youngs and Guy Thompson, but you can put whatever you want. So you might say, I don't know, the roaches, or, you know, whatever. Name 3 other things that you find stunning. Keep it clean, please. Thank you. Right. So functional skills then helps you develop logical thinking, which you'll need in the world of work. You've seen this logo around school. And so you're going to have to use logical thinking to answer question 14. What does last admission to the park is 1 hour before stated closing time mean? A, you cannot come into the park earlier than 1 hour before it closes. B, you cannot come into the park later than 1 hour before it closes. C, you have to come to the park 1 hour before it closes. Or D, you have to leave the park 1 hour before it closes. Right, well, let's get through these then, shall we? So D, you have to leave the park 1 hour before it closes. Well, what's the point in that? Because if everybody's gone, it may as well be shut. So we can get rid of that one. Let's not pay any attention to that. C, you have to come to the park 1 hour before it closes. Equally, we can get rid of that one, because if everybody turns up an hour before it shuts, nobody's going to get to go on any rides. That's nonsense. So A, you cannot come into the park earlier than 1 hour before it closes. Well, this is the same as C, essentially. What would be the point? So we're left with B. You cannot come into the park later than 1 hour before it closes. So say it shuts at 5 o'clock, yeah? Say it shuts at 5 o'clock. You can't come in after 4 o'clock, because otherwise you're not going to have any time to get round and get on any of the rides, and it's going to be a waste of your money, yeah? So that's the one. That's B. Excellent. Marvellous. Let's move on. So, true and false again, nice and easy. Let's see which ones are true and false. So, Black Gang China is an imaginary place. No. False, because we know that you can visit. Cafe facilities never change. Well, we know that's not true on account of the fact that it said it depends on the season. Only local schools visit Black Gang China. Again, we know that's not false, because it specifically tells us that loads of people, loads of schools go from all over. You may be able to return on the same ticket. Now, we're going to put true here. If it said you can return on the same ticket, we'd have to put false, because it doesn't apply to groups. But because the word may is there, meaning it's possible if you meet certain criteria, we know it's true, because it's available for people who aren't in groups. So that's your 2 marks. And don't forget, you've got to answer all 4 for the 2 marks. So this question then, when you get to question 15, tests your logical thinking in your inference. And it's not this, if you notice, this information isn't exactly the same as the statement. The information is given in the source isn't exactly the same as these statements. So you have to work it out. And you have to, so we didn't we? Look at these. We know. Imaginary place. Well, we know that's not true on account that people can visit. Cafe facilities never change. We know that's not true, because it said the exact opposite. Only local schools. Well, no, because it said the exact opposite. And it was this key word here that we had to use this logical thinking for. So well done. Right. Facts versus opinion. Right. World of work then. How is this relevant to the world of work? How is facts and opinions relevant? What the hell are you talking about, miss? So it's important, and this is like a life skill thing. This isn't an English thing. It's important to be able to distinguish between fact and opinion in any place of work. What a colleague, that's somebody you work with, may think may not automatically be true. Learning to tell the difference is an important skill. For example, Miss Pownell thinks it's okay to come to work in pajamas. It's not. That's an opinion. That is not a fact. So don't tell her I said that. I hope she never watches this video. Don't tell her I said that. So what you want to do then, my darlings, is you want to grab this chart down. Draw this chart for me, please. And grab it down, she says. Make sure you're spelling fact and opinion properly. I don't know what word squiffy there. And then, so these are your two options underneath. So a statement which is true and can be proved and cannot be denied. A sentence which highlights what somebody thinks. Well, I think that goes there. And that goes there. Now, obviously, if we were doing this in classroom, you guys would have come up to the board and moved these. But since we're having to do it on a video, sorry guys, that's my job. I get to move the boxes. Sorry. But grab this down. So pause the video, grab it down. You'll need this. This is good for language 2 as well. Language paper 2, your articles and your non-fiction stuff, particularly question 4. So grab it down, colour it around the outside, make it stand out. Not like that. Not like that. Colour it down, colour it and make it stand out. Okay, right, excellent. Move on. This is independent work as well. Cement your skills in separating fact and opinion by answering question 16 on your own. Using the information in source C, put a tick in the correct box to show whether each statement is fact or opinion. I'll read through these for you and then we'll move on. Black Gang Chine has life-size moving dinosaurs. Black Gang Chine offers a wonderful experience. Disabled toilets are available. Each year, school parties visit Black Gang Chine. So are these facts or opinions? Can it be proved, or is it what somebody thinks? And you remember you need all 4 for 2 marks, because if you get 3 you're only going to get 1 mark. Okay, again, you can take a photo of this, or you can put it in your books, and I'll check it when we get home, when we get to school, when we get back home. I'm at home now. When we get back from home to school. Okay, so off you go then. You do those. I'm not going to give you the answers. Work them out for yourselves. Right. In the world of work, you will be faced with numerous tasks, each with different deadlines. And this is why most people are stressed. A good skill to build is learning to prioritize tasks and information. Before answering the next question, complete this task, which will help you develop this skill. Because people who are stressed don't often they're not often very good at prioritizing stuff. So, and they don't have that logical thinking. And so to avoid that, practice this. So this is a task. It's nothing to do with the exam. It's just, it's something to help you build up these skills. So from the list below, prioritize which items are necessary for a holiday to America. And we've got iPhone, visa, ticket, passport, clothes, book, sunglasses, eyeliner, money. So sorry, Adam, eyeliner is a no-no. It's not, you don't actually need it. Sorry, Adam. So go ahead and I'll give you that one. Go ahead and pause the video and write down which ones you think are absolute priorities that you absolutely must essentially have, that are vital to getting to America. Okay, so visa. We discussed this earlier. You need a visa to get into America. You need a ticket to get onto the plane, otherwise you're going nowhere. You need a passport, or you're not even getting anywhere near the planes. And you need money to be able to pay for stuff while you're across there. Now, so these are put into red because these are the ones that you absolutely need. Now, clothes I've put in yellow. Why have I put in that? Well, we all need clothes, it's true. But if, for example, you had these 4 things in your carry-on luggage, but they lost your suitcase full of clothes, you could survive. You could get to America and you could buy more clothes. You could buy a couple of pairs of jeans and a few t-shirts to get you through until they found your suitcase and brought it to you. But you couldn't get to America without any of these things here. Okay, so these are priorities and these are the next on the to-do list. This is a skill that you need for life. Well, what's that got to do with this exam, miss? I hear you say. Well done for asking. So, before you start to answer this question, identify the key words in the instructions. So let's have a look at question 17. This is the last question, so you're almost done. Well done. So your local school is planning a day trip to Black Gang Chine. Woohoo! Write a note for the head teacher. So this is not a letter. This is not an essay. It's a note for the head teacher, giving her the most important, so those are keywords, aren't they, information she needs to help her organise and plan the day trip. So what information then should we include in the note? Because we need to know this, because there's quite a lot in that stuff, and we separated some of the stuff out in the last question to do with fact and opinion, or you should have done if you were doing your work properly. So we probably need the facts, don't we? So we probably need to look at what's the most important thing we need to look at. So we need to know what time we can get there. So we need to know opening times, don't we? We need to know when it's open and when it closes. Opening, God, sorry guys. Opening times. Opening times, we need to know what time we can get there, so what time we can set off from school. You will have to excuse my awful handwriting on this thing. Let's see if I can do it backwards. There we go. Well, hey, look at that. She's got it. She's on a roll. Shame it's the last question, but you know what I mean. So we need to know what time we can get there in the morning, what time it closes, so that we know what time parents have got to pick up and drop off their kids, or drop off and pick up their kids, don't we? We need to know that if we leave earlier than the school buses, that parents have to get their kids there earlier. We also need to know how much money it's going to cost, don't we? We need to know how much money, because we need to know, parents need to know how much they've got to pay for their kids, don't they? Okay, this isn't working, guys. I'm so sorry. So let's type this up, shall we, instead? So we need to know, what did we say? We needed to know opening times. Let's put that here. Opening times. We need to know how much it costs, because don't forget, we've got 1 free teacher's place for every 10 paid children. So we need to know how much everything costs, so that we can work out how many people are going, so that we can work out how many staff we need to take, for example, and how many get in for free. Okay, so again, we need to then think about the special group costs. I might put this above the other one, actually, special group costs, because then we can work out, so say for example there were 50 children going, and we could then have 10 free teachers, and then because we had a group discount rate of 15 or above, that's 45 that are going to be discounted, but 5 that are not going to be discounted. So we'd have to spread that equally over everybody, so it's really fair. And so we then know how much everything costs per pupil then, wouldn't we? So we'd probably put those in that different order there. And then, oh, poor Joe Bloggs has broken his arm. He can go on all the rides, but he needs extra space in the loo. So we need to know about the toilet facilities, maybe. We need to know that he'll be catered for, poor Joe Bloggs, bless him. And then we need to tell our head teacher about the website as well, if she needs any information, any extra information. So that's what we're going to put in our notes then. This is what I would plan for my note, okay? Does that make sense? I hope it does. So these are the things, and this is probably the order in which I'm going to do them. So question 2, how should you write the note. Now, the answer should have appropriately located information transcribed accurately. So we need facts. So we need priority first, don't we? We need to decide where our priorities are. Sorry, guys, I don't priority. Sorry, guys, I will get this, I promise. Not today, though, apparently. Let's get rid of this. So we need to decide then, don't we? We need to prioritize. So top priority first, right? Top first, most important thing. Second, third, etc. So it has to be the most important details at the top, followed by the second most important. So we wouldn't put the toilet details at the top, would we? It's not. Do you know what I mean? Okay. And then we need to be accurate. So we have to get these details correct. And we have to make sure that it's clear. We have to make sure it's easily understood. So accurate facts. We don't need the opinions. We're not persuading her to let us go. She's already wanting us to go. We just need to give her the information. So don't just write this down for this particular answer. You need to actually put this into a note. You need to put this into a note for your teacher, and you need to do a very good job of it so that you get your 3 marks. And congratulations! You have now completed reading level 1 section of your functional skills course. Well done. And I will see you in the next video. And wash your hands, stay in the house, stay safe, and I will hopefully see you very soon. If you have any issues, you can email me or you can tweet me at Miss Hine English, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Stay safe.